So this is going to be one of those late night do it live videos. Turned off my fans. We don't have any distractions. You don't hear any background noise. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I got the fucking windows up because it's hot. But it's 3 o'clock in the morning and my neighborhood is pretty quiet. So I doubt anyone will hear me. But if they do, they'll get some interesting conversation tonight. Because it's hot. And for some reason my mother was like, I don't want to turn the AC. Fuck you, Mom. Sleeping downstairs where the heat doesn't rise, but it's besides the point. So, for those who didn't know, Lazy Man J, Jay's Playground, the J Zone, J-Man Productions, Joey Sonic Fan, whatever the fuck. He's a friend of mine. We've been cool since it's been about 4 or 5 years. So maybe 2009, probably 2008. No, yeah, 2009. Yeah, 2009, 2010. Made a video where he called it The Awakening, and I understand why, because it's essentially him going through this process of reevaluating himself and reevaluating what he wants to do and being like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to go all in. Because he feels like he's been half-assing things and he wants to just throw himself at the work, because he feels like, you know, when you see what other people have accomplished in less time, you feel like you're a piece of shit in some aspects, because it's like, what the fuck am I doing? This kid is like 6 years younger than me and has accomplished so goddamn much. And I'm sitting here practicing my drawing for like 100 and something days, and goddamn it, I'm still not that much better than when I started. I can't be having this slow progress. I know I can do better, so let's fucking try to do better. And I've been going through something relatively similar. I'm not going to say exactly the same, but relatively similar. And I was watching that video, and then a few minutes ago I just finished watching something from MK, Monkey Gang, or Monkey. It's Ground Zero Online. So if you know who Ground Zero Online is, MK, the MK Love series, you know what I'm talking about. He did one for life, and he was saying something along the... He was talking about stuff in a similar fashion, about how you shouldn't focus so much on materialistic things, and it should be more focused on happiness, and that everything should be a means to an end, which the end should always be happiness. Money isn't necessarily an end-all be-all. It's not the most important thing in your life. The most important thing in your life is happiness. I'll leave a link in the description to that video. Go check out his other videos. Shit's hilarious, especially if you are the type of person who likes rap, but you don't like if you don't like modern rap. God, English is killing me tonight. Then I would say check him out. He's pretty funny. And I kind of just wanted to throw out my whole mindset and very interesting thoughts. So if this is rambly, I apologize, but just things clicked and turned in gears, and this fucking train that's going. Hopefully it's not a Final Fantasy train, or else I die. Anyways, let's proceed. So this whole idea, the thing about the whole J-Man's video, I have no problem with that video whatsoever. My thing is that it's the idea that he's pushing, like that whole other people are accomplishing great things, what the fuck am I doing? That idea in itself bothers me on one level, and the reason why is because it promotes that whole idea of, oh, look at these other people who are younger than me or less, or in better or in worse positions than me, and they're accomplishing better things. What the fuck am I doing? That bothers me because it makes you start feeling bad about yourself. It makes you start looking at things in the wrong perspective. What I mean by that is that when you see someone who's accomplishing more things, it makes you come off, it makes you feel like you are not working hard enough. And the problem I have with that is that you don't necessarily have to work hard, you don't have to necessarily work hard to achieve the results that he may have achieved without even fucking trying. It's that whole concept that, you know, we have geniuses in the world, we have average people. I think we can all reach the same goddamn heights. The problem is not everyone reaches the same height in the same way. It also, there's a lot of things in life that bother me in the sense of, you have these dreams that we create for ourselves. The thing, you know, our ultimate goal. Our ultimate goal is happiness, but we all have a different perception of happiness. Some people's happiness is becoming an animator. Some people's happiness is becoming a construction worker. Some people want to build towns and fucking empires and shit. Some people want to explore the earth and find the places unknown, and some people do that with space. Everybody's dream is different, aka everyone's happiness is different. And my thing is, as we're told, quote unquote, is that we as people change and grow. We may not like the same things we did now that we will in the future. Our personalities will change and kind of morph into something different. I mean, most people take the whole experience from childhood to your late to early 20s, late teens to early 20s as a fucking adventure. And if you look at how you used to be then to how you are now, that's a hell of a change. So it then makes me question, well, the dreams that we have now, will those still be valid in like another 20 years? And see, that's the shit that'll terrify the fuck out of you. It's like, oh God, how do I know what I'm running towards right now is going to be worth a damn? It's like, yeah, I like it now because I haven't achieved it yet. But once I've achieved it, damn. I mean, it was the same thing with like the simple things like driving and smoking and drinking and shit. It's like it's like as kids we wanted to do those things because we thought they were cool. We didn't understand why the adults did it. We just wanted to do it because the adults were doing it and because we didn't know what it was and because it was perceived to be something cool and interesting and to make you seem, and because being an adult was cool. And then you realize it was from the stress and the aggravation, the emotional draining situations these people were in and the horrible working conditions those people were suffering. And you sat there and you went, oh God, why did I ever think this was a good idea? And then you find out all the health risks and shit and you really start paying attention to it and you're like, this was totally not worth the time or effort I put into it. That's how the future can be, period. Because as I said, things change. I mean, people change in the course of months and years. I mean, you could go from like 21 to 22 and you have a completely different plan in your life. And that's the shit that's crazy. The other thing that kills me is how society says we should, that we should fall into a set little line. Creativity isn't something that isn't, I'm not saying creativity isn't promoted, but it's not promoted as much because we're not in the position where you can get a job that's supposed to be something creative, like making movies or being an artist. Because those aren't technically financially stable positions right now. Especially in a poor-ass job market. It's just kind of like, it's not the best choice. But at the same time, it's those random and off experiences that can get you to the best places in your life. I'll give you an example. Let's say I have a 9-to-5 job that I'm not necessarily in love with, but it's alright. And I got a 4-day weekend. But I have nothing to fucking do. So I decide, you know what? And this is the whole trying new things mindset that was introduced to me, and I'll get into that for a second, but let me just go ahead and continue with the example. So I'm like, fuck, I don't have nothing to do. And I just decide on a whim to travel to 3 states and back and to take a picture at some type of important or relatively famous monument in each of those 3 states. That is something you shouldn't necessarily, you may not need to do because maybe you don't have the extra gas money and it's going to put you behind so you can't buy as much food that month. But you're just like, fuck it, let's do this. And so you do it, and you're behind, you're kind of going a little hungry, which then catches the attention of a female coworker you have who notices that you're just sitting in the fucking room hungry. Offers you a banana, said, what happened? You kind of go through the whole explanation, you introduce her, you show her the pictures you took, and all of a sudden you and this female coworker that you didn't really pay any attention to, it didn't like you hated her or anything, you just didn't pay any attention to her, you and her start fucking talking, you start conversating, and over the coming weeks you start looking forward to your job because she's there, and then and then your boss knows like, wow, you're in a lot better attitude, it allows you to perform better at work, and that just, it kind of snowballs into this giant thing to now you have a fucking girlfriend and a girl that you didn't even pay any attention to, you're in a higher position in your job, and you realize you really like certain aspects of your new position. And all this came from being reckless. That's my thing. This whole recklessness idea, which is, always said to be a stupid idea, can turn into the most beautiful things. You do something insanely stupid, and it just fucking works. I mean, granted, that doesn't always happen, but the point I'm trying to make is, we're always told not to do that shit. We're told to go into something realistic and financially stable because if we go into something else, we're taking a huge risk. And most people will believe that the risk is not worth it because of the probability of shit not working out the way you want it to. And then people fall on their asses. And that's what's crazy to me. And what kills me is that I used to be told this when I was little. The whole, you should get out more and you should, do things. And you should, pretty much the whole, you should step out of your comfort zone more. Now, granted, the way they were telling me this, the way they were thinking about it is not the way that I don't think the idea was meant to go. I think the idea was fine. I think the way they were trying to convey it and what they had in mind was bullshit. What they had in mind is the stereotypical shit I know I already hate. And that was proven when they tried to do that and I ended up hating it. But I think the idea of getting out of your comfort zone and just doing something off the fucking fly, that has its possibilities. Granted, it may backfire and it may bust you in the ass. But at the same time, you may luck out and win. And even then, you shouldn't bet on anything. You should do it just because it's a thing. Like, my whole thing is computers. I want to kind of get my hands into the computer realm or everything. I may get bored of that in my life. I may get bored of that within the next 5 to 6 years. And I know, J-Man, you were like, I want to immerse myself into just what you need to do. But I'm like, fuck that. And there's a reason why. I'm not saying your way is wrong. I'm just saying this is the way I would rather do it. I would rather have the things that I like that chill me out. The video games, the anime, the manga, looking on YouTube and learning about the industry, whether it's the anime industry or the video game industry, while working on the computer stuff and working on my website and all this other shit. Why? Because we keep changing and we keep growing, and I don't feel the need to limit myself or take away things I like to accomplish something. People always do that whole, we need to close everything out so I can focus. But at the same time, if you have to do all that just to do what you need to do, some people would tell you, do you really enjoy it that much? I'm not, obviously I'm not just referring to study. I'm not, you could also take that into studying, but I'm not specifically referring to studying, but studying could be an example there too. Keeping myself out of the loop just so I can get this one thing done that I have no guarantee that I'm going to feel the same way about in life 5 to 10 years from now is not the way I want to do things. I'll put it this way, I wasn't heavily interested in anime when I was little. I just like watching cartoons and I like talking about cartoons and stuff like that. And that preceded me to start watching YouTube videos and rants while I was still watching cartoons, and then the cartoons became anime, and I found out that it was anime. And then as the years grew in, even when I first started watching anime, I wasn't interested in the industries. I didn't know who the fuck Funimation was. I didn't know who the fuck Viz was. I didn't know, just like a lot of you guys, I didn't pay attention to that fucking thing that flashed on the screen right before Naruto started, or right before One Piece started, or right before, Pokemon started. I just paid attention to Pokemon, Naruto, and One Piece. And then as time grew on, my thing is, I always want to have my mind and myself just kind of floating around looking at shit. Focusing is always great for some people, but it doesn't necessarily work for everyone. And that's kind of how life is. Life is about jumping into new experiences, and some of the best ways to do that is a correlation to something you already like. It's like, oh, I like video games. Like, I'll put it this way. It's kind of like how you crossbreed video games into cartoons to video games. It's like, I like SpongeBob. I'm going to play Battle for Bikini Bottom on the GameCube. Oh shit, I love this. And then it's like, hell, what's this? Smash Brothers Melee. Oh shit, who's that? Roy. Who's this? Fire Emblem. And then you go from Fire Emblem strategy, and you start thinking about it. I wonder if I could apply this in real life. You become a military tactician. Shit. And you hear all these stories about people being inspired by all these different things. It's like, to me, the best way to kind of progress is to keep my mind open and, willing to take in new things. And the other thing is, the one thing I think I still need to learn is sometimes be a little bit more reckless than usual, because it never hurts. And even if it does, it's just a learning experience, and not every time I do something reckless is going to come back and benefit me. I tried to do that last year with money, but I think I should do that with everything when it comes to eating habits. And when I say reckless with eating habits, what I really mean is trying to healthy eat more often. Because reckless with eating habits is what has me overweight. So that may not have been the best example, but the point I'm trying to make is kind of push myself in directions that I don't inherently go to. Niggas, it's crazy what can fucking happen to you just from doing one weird ass thing. It's like I go to a con in North Carolina, and I find out that I really like being in cons, and I like the atmosphere of cons. It makes me want to go to more cons. I end up meeting a lot more people. Maybe I end up meeting someone who presents me with a new job, or puts me in a new position where I want to move to a new different place. That's why a lot of people always suggest you should go visit different countries and states and shit. Why? Because there's a lot of new things that can happen, and you'll be damned to find that something that may not work out positively for you. I mean, yeah, you might have a negative experience, but at the same time, you'll have a positive one too. I think, if anything, the essence of life is, more than anything, is just a whole bunch of experiences to enjoy and to take different things away from them. And even YouTube in itself is an experience. And I hope some of you guys who are younger than me understand a general gist of what I'm saying, because I swear to God, if there's something they don't ever teach in school, or you never pay attention to in school, it's this shit right here. The experiences of life and the joys of studying, but the joys of just being dumb sometimes. You know, I don't think anything is overwhelming. I don't think anything is just negative. I just don't believe that. Even a person's death can bring about happiness in some way, shape, or form. As fucked up as that sounds, I don't think I can't think of an action that is purely negative and cannot have a positive effect. The possibilities are endless. If possibilities are endless when it comes to being creative, why is life so obviously negative or obviously positive? Because it's not. Everything can have a different effect, and that's the kind of the point, you know. You just shoot in different directions to see what the fuck you hit. If you want to say it, the experiences in life are like lottery tickets. Sometimes you win a ticket, so it's like a neutral event. Sometimes you lose big, sometimes you win big. Shit, how it is. Granted, you gotta learn moderation too, you know, having a generalized path so you're not just fucking yourself over. Yeah, being reckless sometimes can help you out, but at the same time, you don't want to stick into one particular path for too long, because you'll either get bored of it. That's the other thing about us. We can be really dedicated to one thing, or we can get really bored of it really quick. Humans are very weird and constantly contradicting creatures. We do a lot of things that don't make sense to half of the other of us. It's like some of us will want to be really reckless, and some of us want to be really fucking conservative. The fact that those two types of beings can exist in human beings, the fact that those two types exist in the same race is ridiculous. It's cool and it's awesome, but it's ridiculous. So, I don't know. When it comes to life, my biggest problem right now is just putting my foot out in the door. It's not even like I need to, but it would help. And hopefully, if I get these jobs, if I get one of these jobs I'm applying for, we're gonna see a lot of that. Because I swear to God, if I get this job, I think this year I'll probably just work on saving and, you know, paying off shit. Next year, getting a lot more reckless, fucking just traveling to places just for the fuck of it. Because I said, you know, experiences. That's kind of what life is. A whole bunch of fucking experiences. If you sit, it's not like it's like, listen, being antisocial, I understand. You don't want to leave your house because there's a lot of bullshit out here in the world. At the same time, you need, if you resolve to live, if you choose to live, do not waste that life doing the same shit every day. That's the weird thing. That's the other thing about us. Some of us can stay so fucking complacent into a particular position we're in, and some of us can't stand to be there for too fucking long. And it makes for very weird and interesting conversation, but that's the whole point. Everything is interesting. Your mind is still working. The wheels are turning. I don't know. I don't know. Life is just kind of a, you know, obviously don't throw away common sense, because we fucking need that. We need more of that, actually, because people are stupid. But then again, that could just be my perception. Maybe people aren't stupid. Maybe people are just not, they're just approaching life in a different way. Which is, I guess, the whole overwhelmingly positive mindset that goes around. I understand why people do it. For me, I think the pessimism needs to be there because it keeps you grounded. so you don't go off and just fucking get yourself killed or ruin the entirety of your life. Because, as I said, you can lose big just like you can win big. I don't know. It's just kind of my whole spiel, a whole bunch of random thoughts going in my head. If this didn't make any sense to you, please leave a comment in the comment section below. And thank you guys for watching. Life's a game. Play to win. I'll catch you guys later. Peace. Yo guys, thanks for watching this video. If you like the video and you want to see more of me, click the box here and you'll be able to be taken to another video of mine. I'm not telling you which one, because that ruins the surprise. Also, if you want to check out my Facebook and Twitter, links are in the description. If you want to support me with your monies, Patreon down there too. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.